All right, let's review real quick. We're going to talk about triangle congruency. Triangle congruency basically means the two triangles are the same shape, same size. I even mentioned that congruency, we're going to use a symbol later on. This wiggly thing means same shape with an equal sign at the bottom, which means same size. So congruent means same shape, same size. For triangles to be congruent, a few rules work. One of them is called side, side, side. What I mean with that is that each triangle must have all three sides marked. So if three sides of one triangle are equal to the three sides of another triangle, those two triangles are congruent. So for side, 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 I need all three sides marked on each triangle. Another rule that we're going to have is side, angle, side. So you notice I have two sides marked. So let me say these two sides. I need two sides marked. Now the angles in between the sides, what I mean with that is the angle where the two sides meet. So it's not just any angle, it's the angle where the two sides meet. In this case would be this angle. Now there's a rule, side side angle, that works only if the angle is 90 degrees. So let me mention this. There's an angle and I need two sides. Make sure the angle is not in between the sides. So I'm talking about something like this. Side angle works only if it's a 90-degree angle, but then we don't call it side angle. We call it HL, hypotenuse leg. If we have a case of side angle and the angle is not 90 degrees, then it's not congruent. Like I said, side angle works only if the angle is 90 degrees, but then we call it HL. We also talked about another rule that we called angle side angle. For that one, what I need is, as you guys can see, I need two angles to begin with, and the side is in between the angles. So that side. Another rule that we have is angle, angle, side. As you guys can see, I need two angles, but the side is not in between the angles. So any side that is not in between the angles, I could choose this side. Any side as long as it's not in between the angles. Then we also talked about angle, angle, angle. I said I could create a triangle with three angles. I could create a bigger triangle with the same angles, but congruency means same shape, same size. In this case, they only have the same shape, but not the same size. So angle, angle, angle does not work. Right? Angle, angle, angle does not work because I can create two triangles with the same angles, so same shape, just not the same size. Another thing we talked about on the previous lecture is that two triangles, if let's say I have two triangles here, if they have the side that is used by both triangles, I can legally just come over and mark that side. That side is given. If a side is used by two triangles, I can say that side is given. Now, for angles, the only way I can just mark an angle that is not marked is if the two angles make an X. Vertical angle degree says when there's an X form, opposite angles are equal to each other. So I can say this angle equals this angle. That's the only way I can mark a side if the two triangles use the side. And the only way I can mark an angle is if they form an X. All right, so let's review for the whole week. To begin with, question number 21. I'm going to see that I have a side that is used by both triangles. So let me mark that side. And then let me see if I can use one of my rules. Let me focus on one of my triangles only. I'm going to focus on this triangle on the top. I notice that this triangle has two angles marked. I'm just looking at what is marked. And I see two angles. So let me put my two angles. Then I see a side. Then I ask myself, is the side in between the angles? Because it is. Let me put the S in the middle. Angle side angle is a rule that works. I notice the other triangles marked the same way. So we're good. Looking at question number 22, I can say this angle right here is 90 degrees because I see the two angles make an X and opposite angles are equal to each other. Let me focus only on one triangle. I notice that this triangle, I'm looking for either two sides or two angles. I notice that in this case, I have two angles. Then I see the side, right? There's a side mark. Then I ask myself, is the side in between the angles? If the side is in between the angles, put the S in between. Angle, side, angle works. If the side is not in between the angles, put the S at the side. Angle, angle, side works. Quickly take a look at the other triangle is marked the same way. So angle, angle, side works. Now I take a look at question number 23. Remember, the only way I can mark a side, kind of like in number 21, is if the side is used by both triangles. The only way I can mark an angle, looking at number 22, if the angles make an X. Now, number 23, I cannot mark anything, but I see that the three angles of one triangle are marked. Right, there's 1, 2, 3 angles. Remember, angle means the corners. So I noticed that three angles are marked. The other triangle also has the three angles. But remember a few minutes ago I said angle, angle, angle does not work. So I'm going to call this not congruent. I look at number 24. First, I ask myself, can I mark a side? Is there a side that is used by both triangles? No. Can I mark an angle? Do my angles form an X? No. However, I see on one triangle, I see one side, two sides, three sides marked. I notice the other triangles marked the same way. I have three sides marked. That's side, side, side. You take a look at number 25. I see that there is a side that is used by both triangles. So I'm going to mark that side. I'm going to focus on one triangle only. I notice this triangle has two angles marked. So let me put my two A's. I see two angles marked. Then there's a side. Then I ask myself, is the side in between the angles? If it is, put the S in the middle. If it's not, put the S at the side. Right? In this case, we have either angle, side, angle, or angle, angle, side. If the side is in between the angles, we have angle, side, angle. If the side is not in between the angles, we have angle, angle, side. Actually, in this case, we have angle, side, angle. Looking at number 26. I can mark this angle, right? Opposite angles are equal to each other when they form an X. Now, focus on one triangle only. I'm going to take a look at this triangle. I notice I'm looking for either two sides or two angles marked. I notice there's two sides. So let me put my two S's. Then I ask myself, is the angle in between the sides? If it is, put it in between. If it's not, don't put it in between. If the angle is in between the sides, we have side, angle, side. If it's not, we have side, side, angle. And in between the sides means the angle where the two sides meet. It is not in between the sides. So we have side, side, angle. But then I said side, side, angle works only if the angle is 90 degrees. But then we don't call it side, side, angle. We call it HL, hypotenuse leg. So if you guys type in side, side, angle, it will be marked incorrect. We're looking for hypotenuse leg, HL. All right, now let's take a look. State what additional information is required in order to know that triangles are congruent for the reason given. I want this triangle to be side, side, side. I want all three sides marked. From the three marks you're supposed to have, two of them are given. You're missing one of them. All right, so for given part, first I ask myself, can I just mark a side if the side is used by both triangles? Can I mark an angle if they form an X? Now that I can't, neither one, so I said, okay, I need three sides marked. Which side am I missing from each triangle? I'm missing this side, and I'm missing this side. For sides, when I'm going to label sides, I need two letters for each side. The first side, I'm going to call it RP or PR, however you guys are going to call it, the two letters that make that side. The other letter, I'm going to call it US or SU. The order does not matter. So RP equals US. Once again, my question here is what mark am I missing? Now, question number 28, I can legally mark this side because it is used by both triangles. I take a look at one triangle. Let me take a look at this triangle. And the rule that I need is angle, side. So I need two angles, but the side not in between them. So I'm going to say, all right, I can mark this angle, angle B. And then on my other triangle, I can mark this angle. When it comes to angles, I need to use all three letters of the triangle. For the first triangle, the one in green, make sure you use all three letters, but B is in the center. So I'm going to call this KBC equals. For the other triangle, I'm going to use all three letters of that triangle, but make sure C is in the middle. So BCD or DCB, as long as you have C in the middle. For sides, you use two letters. For angles, you use three letters. So once again, for sides, you're going to use two letters. For angles, you're going to use three letters. All right, let's take a look at number 29. I can legally mark this side because both triangles use it. Let me take a look at one triangle. The rule that I need here is angle, side. I need two angles, but the side not in between them. So in this case, I need this angle, right? I need two angles, but I don't want the side that is marked, I don't want it to be in between the angles. And from the other triangle, I will need this angle. Remember, for angles, you use all three letters. So for the green triangle, I'm going to use all three letters. Make sure H is in the center. So I can call it VHU. If your homework you type in UHV, it's going to still mark it correct as long as you have H in the center. Now the other triangle, make sure T is in the center. So I'm going to call that VTU or UTV as long as T is in the center. Either way, it will mark it correct. Now let's take a look at number 30. To begin with, I can mark this side because both triangles use it. Now let me focus on one triangle. For this case, I'm going to use the rule angle, side, angle. So two angles, but I want the side in between the angles. So in this case, I'm going to use this angle and this angle on the other triangle. So for the green triangle, I'm going to use all three letters because I'm talking about an angle, but make sure Q is in the center. So I'm going to go SQR, all capital letters. For the other triangle, I'm going to use all three letters. When I'm talking about an angle, all three letters, make sure R is in the center. QRF. Couple more examples. For question number 31, I notice that I need angle, side. So two angles. I need two angles and a side. Make sure the side is not in between the angles. So I need this angle and I need this angle. Once again, make sure the side is not in between the angles. So for the first triangle, I'm going to use all three letters. Make sure P is in the center. So I'm going to call this RPQ. For the other triangle, I'm going to use three letters. Right? When you're dealing with angle, you use three letters. Make sure F is in the center. EFD. Looking at question number 32, to begin with, I can say this angle equals this angle because they form an X. So that is technically given. Now I focus on one triangle. Let me focus on this triangle. It doesn't matter which one you focus on. That's the one I'm looking at. I need this to be two sides and the angle in between. So I need the angle where the two sides meet. So it's not just any two sides. is the two sides that meet at the angle that is marked. One side is marked. The other side that I need is this side. On my other triangle, I need this side. So I'm going to say DL. Remember, for sides, I use two letters. DL equals LK. Once again, for sides, you use two letters. For angles, you use three letters.